Welcome to this explainer. Today we're tackling something that is absolutely critical in our modern landscape, and that is verifying digital media. We live in an era where digital files can be copied, altered, or completely stripped of their metadata in the literal blink of an eye. Because of that, establishing unquestionable truth is paramount for private investigators, law enforcement, and legal professionals. So we're going to dive straight into a really powerful solution designed specifically to handle this exact challenge. It's called Video Timestamp version 3.
It really all starts with this one fundamental question. How do you prove exactly when a digital video was recorded? Think about it. If you're handing over crucial evidence for a court case, a standard digital file that just says it was created on a certain day simply isn't enough anymore. Metadata is incredibly fragile. You really need a way to inextricably link the time of recording to the visual evidence itself so that anyone watching it knows exactly when those events unfolded. No shadow of a doubt.
All right, here is our roadmap for today. 1. The need for forensic evidence. 2. Navigating the main interface. 3. Essential tools and fixes. 4. Customizing your video stamp. And finally, 5. The core processing workflow.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the need for forensic evidence, establishing the stakes.
So, what we're really talking about here is a forensic-grade timestamp. Now, this isn't just some hidden metadata buried deep in a File Properties tab. It is a permanent date and time overlay that is encoded directly onto the media files themselves. It uses exact file system dates, and it completely prioritizes accuracy, transparency, and user control. It helps to think of Video Timestamp version 3 as your own self-contained digital notary. It doesn't need any complex external Python installations. There are no weird third-party plugins. It's just a standalone Windows executable that visually locks in the truth of your media.
Moving right along to Section 2, navigating the main interface. This is your digital notary hub.
When you open the application, notice how incredibly clean and intuitive the layout is. You aren't getting overwhelmed by a million confusing dials and switches. Instead, it operates in these really clear vertical zones. Up at the top, you've got your input controls. That's where you choose your files. Down in the middle is where your selected files will populate into a detection table. Right below that, you'll find your output folder controls to designate exactly where the stamped files are going to go. And then finally, there's that big action button at the bottom, which actually only activates when you are completely ready. It's totally built to prevent you from making mistakes. But don't let that clean interface fool you, because under the hood, it packs some serious capabilities. Like we mentioned, it's a true Windows standalone executable. It intelligently taps into hardware acceleration depending on your specific system. So whether you're running Intel QSV, AMD AMF, or using a macOS fallback. And hey, if you don't have those, no worries at all, because it automatically relies on a universally compatible software encoding fallback anyway. It supports over 15 video formats natively. Plus, here's a really fantastic feature. It can actually convert standard image formats, like your everyday JPEGs and PNGs, into one-frame timestamped videos. That lets you seamlessly integrate photos right into a continuous video evidence workflow.
All right, Section 3, Essential Tools and Fixes. Correcting reality.
Let's focus on the Tools menu for a second. You'll find some really specific drop-down options here that are basically designed to automate those tedious little tasks that usually bog down a real-world investigation.
Let's break those down, because they're awesome. First up, Import Today from SD card. This is just brilliant. It automatically scans your connected drives, finds media that was created today, and copies it directly into a neatly date-named folder. It completely bypasses those deeply nested, super confusing SD card folder structures like DCIM or stream folders. There's also a direct shortcut to just show those files if you want. Furthermore, the automatic renaming tool is an absolute lifesaver. It automatically slaps clip numbers onto your files sequentially. And for specific hardware setups, it'll even add an integrity tag for clips under 20 seconds and a claimant tag for clips over 20 seconds. It literally does all the archival heavy lifting for you.
And then we have the Fixes menu. Imagine this scenario. You're out in the field in the spring, daylight saving time hits, and a user manually advances the camera clock instead of just using the built-in DST setting. Boom, the timestamp is now wrong. Well, this menu is exactly how you transparently and ethically correct that misconfiguration so the final burn video reflects the absolute true time.
Now, the really crucial point here is how the software handles these corrections if you happen to select multiple fixes. They are applied in a strict, entirely predictable sequence to maintain a rock-solid chain of evidence. Step 1, it will always apply the manual DST fix, subtracting an hour. Step 2, it applies any +1 hour adjustments. And Step 3, it applies -1 hour adjustments. You never left guessing how the math is being calculated behind the scenes. The software applies a rigid, fully documentable logic every single time.
Section 4. Customizing your video stamp. Visual proof.
If we open up the main settings dropdown, notice that Remove Audio is checked by default. Now, why is that? Well, because when you're processing time-stamped evidence, say surveillance footage or maybe a dash cam, you rarely actually need the original ambient sound. A lot of times it can just be distracting or completely irrelevant to the visual facts of the case. So the software just inherently prioritizes exactly what's needed for the evidence.
Inside the Stamp Settings dialog, you get some incredibly granular control. You can adjust the text color and, critically, the outline color. Setting a black outline on white text is a game changer because it ensures the timestamp is readable against any background, right? Whether the video is pointing at a pitch-dark street or a bright, blown-out sky. You can set the position to any corner you want. You can even dial in specific, custom pixel font sizes, which is absolutely vital if you're dealing with a legal jurisdiction that literally mandates a precise font size for admitted evidence. And that brings us to how it actually finds the correct time to display in the first place. The software is super meticulous here. It uses a very smart, two-tiered approach. Tier 1 is embedded metadata. It uses FFprobe to read the internal creation time tags buried inside modern MP4s and camcorder files, and then it converts that UTC perfectly over to your local time. But if that metadata is missing or corrupted, which honestly happens a lot with older camcoders or legacy TS files, it automatically falls back to Tier 2. The file system date. That reads the operating system's modification time. This two-step process basically guarantees you're getting the most accurate temporal data possible.
And of course, you also have total control over how that date is formatted on screen and in the file name. Video Timestamp utilizes standard Python time codes. So whether your agency requires a European day-month-year format, a standardized year-month-day layout, or just a traditional 12-hour AM/PM clock, you simply input the corresponding format string and the software handles the rest perfectly.
Which leads us to Section 5, the core processing workflow, step-by-step execution.
The user journey here is incredibly streamlined. It really just distills down to these 4 easy steps. 1. Select your files to populate your table. 2. Review the detected date. You can accept the automatic 2-tier detection we just talked about, or if you absolutely have to, apply a custom override manually. 3. Select your output destination. And 4. Hit the Timestamp Videos action button. A clean progress dialog will pop up, which is great because it prevents you from accidentally interrupting the process while it works its magic.
And while that progress bar is moving across your screen, what is actually happening under the hood? Well, the final output is being beautifully encoded. It outputs a universally compatible H.264 MP4 file at a really crisp 5,000 kilobits per second, using a medium preset and a constant rate factor of 18. Honestly, what all that technical jargon means for you is that the resulting video is incredibly high quality, it preserves all the crucial visual details of your evidence, and it's gonna play smoothly on literally any computer in any courtroom in the world.
Which brings us to our final thought for today. In a world where digital reality is easily and often altered, is your evidence truly undeniable without a forensic-grade timestamp? Video Timestamp version 3 doesn't just slap some text onto a video. It fortifies your digital evidence. It locks the time and the visual facts together in a way that is transparent, fully controllable, and universally readable. It elevates your files from mere digital data to irrefutable visual proof. Thank you so much for joining me as we explored this incredible tool today. Keep learning, stay focused, and I will see you in the next explainer.